Good Work Podcast, hosted by Terrell Strayhorn and Jaquin Johnson. We specialize in taking a deep dive into issues that truly matter. Each episode unpacks the challenges and opportunities facing today's leaders, from classrooms to boardrooms, offering insights that inspire real change. By redefining success, we're changing lives, empowering people everywhere to create environments where everyone feels a sense of belonging, whether at home, work, or school. So hey, sit back, relax, grab your favorite beverage, and join us as we explore the issues shaping our futures, one meaningful conversation at a time. Let's go!
Welcome. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Do Good Work Podcast. We are delighted to have you here. I'm your co-host, Terrell T. Rizzi, joined live in the studio with my co-host and friend, J Square.
What's good with you?
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you, it's going good.
You've been busy past few days.
It is a busy time. End of the semester. And so to all who are in our audience, congratulations for making it to the end of yet another term or semester. What is that? Fall 2025 is history. And all we got to do is hang on for a little while. We're going to be coasting on over into 2026. It's been busy. It's been nonstop. It's been a challenging time. Definitely looking forward to opportunity to sort of focus on some other kinds of projects and things. I know we have quite a bit we've got to do, but yourself, you've been busy too. You ain't been over there just sleeping. What's up?
Yeah, it's been a busy week, but a productive week. Like you said, glad to get through this semester. I know the students are extremely happy, but my work, we also are recruiting new students. So really trying to work with them to get them moving through the process, but also the scholarship deadline is coming up. So making sure that parents and families and students are aware of it, how to get through it. It's been a challenge, but I think we're moving forward pretty nicely.
Yeah, believe it or not, I don't remember if I shared this in this episode or another show or someone else's podcast, but lots of people in our listening audience might be surprised to know that, colleges and universities, units like yours, are working right now to get more students enrolled for January, right? And so I remember when I went to college, I'm pretty sure most people in my high school, myself included, and my friends, we all thought about college as that thing that you start in August. This was before people took what we call gap years, which we should talk about. But yeah, so this whole notion of meeting enrollment targets by enrolling people sort of year round, across the year, across the terms. Do you find that there are just as many students who are interested in starting school in January as there could be in August, or are there some differences between those who start in August, those who start in January?
I think there's a drastic difference. The ones that starts in August are pretty much your first time. Majority of them, the first time full-time students coming right out of high school, but you still have some students who are readmits, pause outs. Like you said, they kind of took a break from school, went to go get a job, and then decided to come back. You have some adult students that are interested in coming back to school. You have some students who graduate high school early and are ready to enroll in college. So you just try to really find those students. It's not as many, you're not enrolling 2,000 students like you do in August, but you could bring in a good sizable amount of students. And like you said, from a strategic standpoint, overall head count, You really want to maximize the spring semester and enroll some students. That way you can have some wiggle room if you need it for the fall.
Yeah. So, like at my institution, we have multiple terms. We have 16 terms in an academic year. And so, for instance, you can come in I mean, we still have two major start points. We have semesters, fall and spring, but fall and spring are divided into about 8 terms each. So, you know, you could have a student who starts in October, a student who starts in January, another student who starts in March, one who could literally start in the summer. And I was sharing this with someone during one of our recent visits from our accrediting body. Someone asked, like, does that work for you all? And why do you do that, essentially? And my answer sort of came out of my mouth before my brain really engaged it. And I said, yes, it works, because the students that we serve are not privileged to know exactly when college would make sense for them. And it was one of those moments where I was like, whoa, say that again, right? That's a privilege to know that you can start college 3 months after high school, that life is that predictable, that stable, that resources are that predictable and stable, that when you graduate in May or June, you'll be ready to go in August and nothing else will change. But when you work at institutions that are access driven, mission driven, serving large numbers of first generation, low income, no income students, you might think you have it in May and it disappears in the summer, especially with all this going on in the world. If people got laid off their jobs, people got furloughed, you celebrated with a family, someone in your family got sick, you had to take care of them. You said, oh my gosh, I was going to start in August. I need to delay it. Well, at most institutions, you'd have to delay it until the next August. But my gosh, anything could happen in that time, right? So as an institution that's really committed to working with students whose lives are complicated and challenging and also wonderful, we have these multiple terms that allow us to say, hey, you might not be able to start in August, why don't you come in October? Can't do October, why don't you come in January? January don't work, come in March, come in May, and the like. But I do think you're right. What we've also been able to do with all of these different start points is really recruit more what we used to call non-traditional learners, right? Adult learners, students with disabilities, students with dependents, students who work full time. But that I say used to call, because really those non-traditional students of yesterday are the traditional student of today.
Mm-hmm.
Where the average undergraduate is actually not 18 years old anymore. The average for undergraduates is inching toward 24, 25. And what we mean by adult learner has changed. And for anybody out there who's listening to that, we got a third of college students who are the first in their family to go to college. So a large number of students are the first in their family to go. I think that shapes what happens.
It definitely shapes how you recruit students, right? Because at the end of the day, you have to figure out what their needs are and how to address them. I think your institution, we had a brief conversations about this, are doing a pretty good job of addressing those needs and giving multiple terms, because there may be some students out there who want to go to school, but August is not the best option for them. But you can, instead of telling them like, oh, well, now you got to wait until January. Well, who knows what life looks like in January, right?
Right.
So how about you can start in October? That's closer than January. There are different ways. I mean, I think that, our institution doesn't do that, but your institution does. And there are other institutions that does different things, right? Because we all are uniquely different, although we kind of have the same purpose to educate and to graduate students, but how we do it is much different. It depends on, who our students are. I like to tell our counselors, like, who do we serve? And figure out, based on that information, now how do we need to recruit to recruit that population, but also where are some pockets where we can grow or have opportunity in, and really understand who they are and what they need. And then let's make sure that we have a plan for them, because there's nothing like recruiting a student who is excited to go to school, excited to be the first in their family, excited to, move away from home and get out there on their own, but still like in a controlled environment. And then they get there and it's not anything what you told them. So it's very important for us to understand who are the, the dynamics of our institution and also the students that we serve. And then who do we go out there and recruit so we can convey that and articulate that to them extremely well so they can have a positive experience.
What do you find are some of the most, like, what kind of questions do people have on their mind right now when they are applying to school?
The biggest thing is, the biggest thing is finances, right? So how am I going to pay for this? And to be honest with you, it doesn't matter if you're affluent or low income. People have that. That's their major concern. The second thing is probably the prestige of the institution and the perception of that. So how do you communicate, the curriculum, the rigor of the programs that you're in, things of that nature. We had a study done on our campus the other day. It was interesting. One thing that students, they told us that, they really applied to our institution because they were word of mouth. But there are some things that kind of, sway them differently or go to another direction was finances. And a lot of students that we were recruiting that did not end up coming, they were admitted, but did not end up coming was because of finances, but they didn't go to another 4-year institution. Majority of them went to a 2-year institution. So that's very interesting for us and figure out how we can, cost is a major thing.
Yeah, we got a comment in the chat about, can it be free? And this whole, there are lots of schools that are talking about making college free and a lot of policies around free college. What are your thoughts about that? Any?
Can college be free? I think there are ways for college to be free. At the end of the day, I know that higher education is the bottom line and it's a business. So we have to make money somehow, some way. And a majority of that is, students paying to go through school. But my biggest thing is, like I try to tell students, is that there's money, there's funding out there that you can apply for and to get scholarships. And what is a scholarship? What is a grant? What is a loan? With subsidized, the difference between subsidized and unsub, subsidized loan, it doesn't recruit interest while you're in school. Unsubsidized loan, it does recruit interest. That all depends. The question becomes, what's the percentage? Some is 2%, some is 6%, just depends. You have to read that fine line and ask those type of questions. But one thing I like to tell people all the time is really take time. I know you did this when you were going to school, but take the time to figure out the scholarships that are out there. If you have to write an essay, take the time to, brainstorm, sketch it out, write it out, and then submit it. I know there are scholarships on our campus that no one submits to. No one. And without, because I don't know if I can say like no one submits to this scholarship, you need to apply for it. But in so many words, I try to tell them, like, if you don't, you probably should do it. Because it's just free money. And it's just only going to help you. If you don't get it, you don't get it. But you won't know if you don't apply for it.
Yeah. I think part of what we're experiencing is, this whole, I think one of the things that happens, I want to get some of the comments. We got to also play the game. We're getting ahead of ourselves. But college is so different nowadays. It's not the only thing that, it's not the only way to get a job. It's not the only way of the world. And we got to come to this. I don't know if we'll get to it a little bit in this episode, but we got to have an episode to talk about it. There are so many people there's so many people out there who, want to become famous. Actually, I was just having this conversation with someone this week who was talking about the number of college students who want to, wait, was that you? Who want to be like Insta famous. They want to go viral. Not go to college. It's like, and so they're putting time, like lots of time and energy into building content and knowing what to do and figuring out all the algorithms and, allowing people access to their lives, partly because their goal is to go viral, make money, pay bills that way. And by the way, that is a totally possible, verifiably possible route to income, resources, and wealth. That wasn't true a decade ago. And so now college has this new competition of, what it's trying to do. So I think that we have to really appreciate the fact that, one, college as an option has new competitors. Two, I still think college is a very good option and a very good choice. I don't know that we sell it the right way all the time, nor do I think we know how to sell it to today's market. We do need to do more work on knowing our market, because it's plural, it's not a single thing, and then matching that with certain strategies to get there, so that people can understand that college will help them get where they're trying to go and what the return on that investment might be. All of that to say, what I've seen in probably the last 2 months is a growing number of students who are really interested in college, but have all sorts of questions. And so we underestimate the kinds of questions people have, and we have to do more of that. All right, so let's get into it. Usually right here, you would kick us off talking about our game of the day and our good word of the week.
Good word of the week. Yeah. So thank you for stealing the thunder. But let's see. But again, we want you all to play with us. Type in the chat your good word of the week, starting with the first letter of your last name. Johnson is J, S is Strayhorn. I will kick us off. I'm going to go with, I just found, thought about this word not even, 17 minutes ago, right before we kicked off, joy. And I am feeling joy today because of what the past 2 days, I had a tall task in front of me, a project that I had to get done, because it's due tonight at 11:59. There's no questions asked. If it's not done, it's closed. There's no retries, there's no redos, there's nothing. So I've been spending my past 2 days on the computer working through some layers of the project to make sure that it's done before tonight. Thankfully, I got 90% of it done. The rest I would do after the show, but I'm happy that it got done because one, it's just important to the team. And two, I think this is going to benefit us moving forward because it's going to open so many more opportunities.
Yeah, love it. Hello, Candy LPS. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. And certainly want to say hello to Canada Empire. Thanks for tuning in to the podcast. Please feel free to use the chat. Let us know what you're up to. Good to see you, Miss Wilson. And you're in Texas.
It's chilly. That's some new information.
I didn't know you were in Texas. Let me see. Is it chilly outside? Well, I don't know where I am in the world. I might not be in Texas.
I'm about to say,
I might be in
Africa. Location.
I might be anywhere. So let us know what the temperature is, Miss Wilson. We'll come back to some of these other comments. Want to make sure we say hello to folks. Hello, Niley Jenner. Hello. Thank you for tuning in. Hey, Leighton. Thanks for tuning in. And hello, Kimmy Corner. We'll come back to this sweater. Absolutely, positively. Yes, yes. And we've got some other good words of the week. So we got strong from my mama. Hello.
Hey, she always comes with the heat.
Yes, yes. Thanks for tuning in. And weathering. Yeah, that's given the weather. Although it's relative because Kimmy said her name is Happiness now. She said it was 5 foot of snow where she is. I need to see a picture. You got to drop a link. You got to do something because 5 feet, I would be under the snow. It's not, that's too much snow. I ain't got that much. Hello, Creola. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you for being here. Blithe. That's a good word of the week. It's not necessarily the happiest. I wonder what that word means. Blithe. I got to look that one up. Happy. Hello, Creola. Thank you for your word of the week. And so my word of the week, I've been waiting to say this word. Actually, one of my friends, by the way, she asked when we do, what does it mean?
I'll let you go first on that one.
I mean, she asked me. And
I don't know
so
how far.
said,
Yeah.
at first I said what it means, what I thought it meant. She said, does it mean that, dang, what did she think it meant? It was like something that the person said is kind of off or, awkward or funny. And I thought that I started down the path of, yes, it's something like that, but I ended up in a totally different space. And I was like, no. This is what that sound means to me. It means I literally just thought of something that I can't wait to get out my mouth to tell you. Because like thinking of it cracked me up. And so it happened in my head, and my head just said, I got to tell you. And now I'm ready to tell you what just happened inside. What do you think?
When I tell you we do this all the time on the phone, it's just nothing but screams.
Yeah.
For me, I think there are two things that come to mind. One is kind of what you said. Something came in my head and I fell out because it's about to be funny. I want to share it with you. The second thing is I know I'm about to be shady.
Yeah.
So I'm screaming at myself. And if it's just you and I'm just going to be shady. If I'm screaming out loud, I'm really telling myself, don't go down that path. Be quiet.
My coworkers this week, one of my coworkers was like, do you know that you're petty? I was like, literally all of my friends call me Prince Petty. So yes, I know that. I own it. I embrace it. And sometimes I activate it. So that laughed. So this is what my word is. My word of the week is statistics, because it's an S. And I have done nothing but statistics for the last, 48 hours. And I like statistics, but man, learning statistics, taking statistics online where you are literally, I don't know, I got a lot to share. What do you say after the podcast about this? Actually, after 11:59 p.m. Because I don't know why we thought I don't know why we do this. Now, having done it, you better believe I'm going to try my best to teach statistics online. And I'm never, no shade to whoever is teaching me statistics in the world, but like I wouldn't do it that way. It's like, it's a lot of, right. It's a lot of, hand calculations. And I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday about this, and he said, see, that upsets me. Why are we doing that when we have calculators, graphing calculators, software, AI? We have so many tools. But when the assignment requires the intermediate calculations, right? Or they do things like, do this and don't round, or do this and round, it creates a moment where you got to do it manually. Anyway, my word of the week, my word of the day is statistics. Now, it's not just today, because I've been doing statistics all week, just different kinds of things. I don't even know what that is. Yes. Now here's a good
I've heard of
point. We get ready
WebAssignment.
to round off. I don't know, WebAssignment, check it out. Stats, right? They don't tell the whole story. We use qual and quant in our work, but your dissertation's quant. A lot of my work is heavy quant. And what remember, where were we? And we started at ARA last year, I think it was. And we were talking, and the spirit was moving, and we started talking about the outlier, Miss Mary.
Yeah. Was that AERA?
Wasn't that our workshop? It was our class on
data. Yeah. Miss Mary has came up many times.
Many times. So to Miss Wilson and others, this is what we were saying. So we taught a class on analyzing large scale secondary data, quantitative analysis, and people were saying things like, same sort of sentiment. There's no story in quant data. And we balance it and say that there's a story in all data, right? Because I often will say to people, I'm so grateful to all of the students who have shared their story with me over the years of my career. There are guys who shared their story with Jaquin in his dissertation, but they don't look like stories because they're survey responses. But the survey response is a story, right? Because if you're asking someone, do you feel like you belong at your institution on a scale of 1 to 5? The moment that person clicks 1, they're trying to tell you, Jaquin, I'm trying to tell you something. I'm trying to tell you this. So I don't feel it here, right? You just have to hear the story through the quant data. And when you see patterns to certain quantitative data, like, oh my gosh, all of the students living with disabilities tend to register toward a 1 or a 2, while those with varying levels of ability score towards 4 and 5. It's up to us as the researcher to hear that story that is audibly communicated through quant and qual. This is a masterclass on data analysis and data interpretation for the masses, right? So we were in AERA talking about this, and I was sharing the story about Miss Mary, who is in a data set somewhere. She is an outlier because most people score at the 4, 5, 6. I don't know what it is. What she say? 3, 4, 3, 7, 3, 4, 5, 7. You remember my doc student who asked us that?
Yeah.
So
oh my God, I'm screaming.
Is it
the 4 or 5 or 7? Child. Okay, I'm not going there.
So Miss Mary scores up here. No, I'm sorry. Most people score up here, but Miss Mary in the middle of this data set scores at the bottom. And while we were, sort of vibing off of each other in our conversation, it occurred that that's a powerful influence that Miss Mary has on the institution. In stats, those who have taken stats, those who are even interested, you can look it up or ask ChatGPT. We call it an outlier. Outliers are problematic for data because an outlier skews your mean, right? So if everybody was a 3, 4, 5, we'd be right in the middle. But because Miss Mary plummets at a 0 or plummets at a 1, she yanks that mean down. And so we were saying, until you do right by Miss Mary, your mean gonna always be off.
Always. Yeah.
At the organizational level. So we got to think about all of the people who are pushed to the margin, who are invisible or made to feel invisible, made to feel small, overlooked, undersung, at our institutions, at our places of work, in our schools. We've got to pay attention to them and do the work to foster their belonging. Otherwise, it's not just, you can't just cut them out of the data set, which is what a lot of researchers do. They exclude the outliers. No, you got to include those outliers because they're telling you something anyway.
This is how we get started. This is how we get started when we're writing. Like, it literally starts with the data. Terrell goes on this whole monologue of why it's so important, and then I have to say something because this is the point where, to us, it is our responsibility to drill down on it, right? I remember we had a project with a campus. And we noticed this, right? This was drastically, it was like, there are people out there who are in the in group and scoring 4s and 5s. There's like this certain group. I mean, every single time it was consistent, was scoring 1s and 2s, and it was drawing the mean down. And we were literally like, what does a campus want? The campus wants us to highlight and celebrate and clap for this over here, but the campus is not going to be better unless we pay attention to these 1s and 2s and show them why they're 1s and 2s, right? And literally we made a decision that it was important for us to tell their side of the story, and they put it in front of the campus leaders and have an open conversation about it.
Yeah, you have to do it because otherwise, I think, everything's a story, and part of what we've got to do, you were saying it earlier, is like every single student who comes to K-12, higher ed, goes to work, whatever, people do it because they have a story they want to be told. People want to feel like they matter, they belong. Hello, it's all about belonging and ultimately doing good work. So I love that we're able to. So my word of the week was statistics. We had some other words. I think I showed them all. But but I know we also want to get to, okay, so it's 55. I mean, chilly for Texas. Yes, I will give that. But let me see. We also got a picture, I think. Appreciate y'all keeping us informed here. Let's see if we can share this. And then we'll kick it over so that we can, wait, will it work for me to do this? We can get into the things for tonight. Some of the images and all. What does this do? They have to get to a point where it's like it's easier to share. But in the meantime, what'd you eat today?
Oh boy, pizza.
Really?
Dang. Yeah, that's what I had today. Pepperoni pizza.
Wow, I'm jealous.
What is today? Sunday?
Yeah. And I didn't eat pizza yesterday either, which is normally my Friday meal, but
today's not. Yesterday was not Friday.
Oh, look at there. Won't he do it? Yesterday. Well, I didn't have it Friday. I didn't have it Saturday. All right, here we go. Let's look at this. Where it at? There we go. Snow. I don't want it. I don't need it. Nope. You?
No. I don't even pray for it.
She said it's 7 degrees.
7? How did you do that?
For many years. Do you understand? Many years. 7 years I did that. I mean, but it's like anything else. Your body adjusts, you get used to it. Now, here's what I will say about Columbus, Ohio, which is where she is it's one of those cities. It's a Midwestern city. It knows how to do that, right? So growing up in Virginia Beach, Virginia, a city that is gorgeous, but it does not know how to do a lot of snow. That much snow would shut that city down for probably days, if not weeks. Because I remember growing up when it was snow like 1 inch, schools were closed, malls were closed, the movie was closed, stores were closed, people were sliding all into trees and everything like that. It's like it did all that. But interestingly, in places like Ohio and Cincinnati is Ohio, Illinois, places in the Midwest, like those cities have the city budget invests in snow plows, right? So the moment it snows, they're coming through, clearing off the streets. You can still get to work. I'll never forget. I tell this story all the time. When I was at The Ohio State University on the faculty there, my first big snow, it was like, I don't know, 19 inches of snow, too much snow for anybody to be walking through. And so I thought for sure class was canceled, school was closed. I'm checking my email thinking, okay, when are they going to close the university? And I called like my department head and he was like, what are you talking about? Everybody's on campus. Everybody's here. And I was like, how? And then you go out and you get on the road and you can take your time. You get there quite safely. But you do need, that's when I decided I would buy an SUV. And I wanted an SUV with 4-wheel drive because I knew I was driving through those kind of conditions. So to anybody who's being impacted by that weather, love and light to you. We want you to be safe. Be safe. Yes, when some cities get like a little light dusting, they close down. It be like that. I am not getting a sled. No. It's not happening. All right. So we're going to go to a quick video, a couple of videos, and then we come back. We're going to kick it off with, I think you have an image and some stuff we'll talk about.
Okay, I'm sharing today. Absolutely.
If you got it, if not, we can figure it out. But in the meantime, listen, we appreciate you all for being here and tuning in with us every single week. It's be a fun show. Not a fun show. It'd be a sad show without you. So we want to make sure that you know that. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to go to our YouTube channel, like and share, subscribe, follow us, and find other ways. If you haven't already, take the link to the YouTube that we'll put in the chat and share it out to your friends. Tell all your sorors and your fraternity friends and your frenemies, all of them. Tune into the episode tonight, and we're going to make sure that we will cover some additional information in just a moment.
What does it truly mean to do good work? It's not just about excellence, it's about making a real difference. Do Good Work podcast explores how impactful work can transform lives and communities. Join us every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central for the Do Good Work podcast. Stream live on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and X. Be part of a community that values meaningful change. Our mission is to highlight leaders, educators, politicians, and change makers everywhere. We redefine success by showcasing stories of transformation, liberation, and innovation. In each episode, discover how individuals like yourself can and are making a difference. Through inspiring stories, we aim to ignite your passion for change. Learn from those who are not just succeeding, but are also impacting lives positively. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest episodes. Follow us on social media for updates and behind-the-scenes content. Stay connected and be part of our growing community. Engagement is key. Drop comments in the chat. And know your support helps us continue to bring impactful stories to light. Double tap and show some love for the work that truly matters. Missed an episode?
No worries.
Catch up on past episodes for more insights and inspiration. Each story offers a unique perspective on doing good work. Revisit powerful conversations and learn from diverse voices. Every episode is a chance to gain new understanding and motivation. Don't just do something good. By subscribing and engaging with us every Sunday, you'll be part of a movement that values meaningful impact. Call to action, subscribe, watch, and engage with us every Sunday. Let's make a difference together. Do good work.
I am thine, O Lord. I have heard thy voice, and it told thy love for me. How I long to crawl in the arms of faith and be closer, Lord, to thee. So draw me nearer, blessed Lord, to the cross where thou hast died. Draw me nearer, blessed Lord, to thy precious bleeding side. So consecrate me now to thy service, Lord, by the power of grace divine. And let my soul look up with a steadfast love, and my will be lost in thine. Draw me nearer, blessed Lord, to the cross where thou hast died. Draw me nearer, blessed Lord, to the precious. Well. Oh, my. I'm having a moment and I want to get closer. Oh, yeah. I've been too far away. I've been too far away. And I want you to draw me, 'cause I done found out that I can't come close unless you draw me. Please draw me. Oh, na, oh, na, oh. Well. Oh, well, to to thy precious Savior. There's joy there, there's peace there, there's happiness there. I wanna go. Anybody wanna go with me? Say, there's joy over there, there's peace over there. Draw me closer to thy precious, please,
say we like to party. Just call me. You want know that you gonna that when you see that.
Wow. All right. Welcome back. Did you go in? Did they take you to church?
Listen, I gotta ask you this question. You know, when you hear gospel music, like, where does that take you? How does it make you feel?
Yeah, it depends on the song. Songs like that, or like the Brian, is it Wilson? Nelson? What is his name? Brian. I think it's Brian Wilson. Song that we often will play. Listen, it can take me to a place of like just being centered, excited, grateful, warm. You know, it will snatch me out of my stats and put me in the spirit.
Come on.
And even though I'm not in church, it will take me straight there. Yeah. What about you?
It doesn't matter if I'm happy, sad, down, up, around, jump up and down. Listen, a good gospel song will have me. It reminds me of like being with my grandmother, who I believe is someone who can like pretty much like sit down, boy, sit down, calm down, and it allows me to like think about my next move and where I'm trying to go, or all sorts of things. But I listen to it a lot of times when I go to work, just to like recenter myself and think about what I'm grateful for, right? Because I think there's often times where, you know, the day goes on and you don't really I don't take the time to give grace and say thank you. But I do know, like, Jessica Reedy, I can listen to her and do work and dance and jump up and down. But Bishop right here, that's something I'm just like, like, I feel like, damn, I really need to think about my life.
That's what gospel will do. It'll make you feel like, okay, I need to get it together. Yeah, it's a good song. So anybody who wants to know, that was Bishop Marvin Winans. He's cool because okay, you're right, Miss Wilson. I know. Listen, we're working on my DJ skills. I got to get them all queued up, and there are a couple more that are on me and Jaquin's playlist that I'm gonna make sure I get. It's yes, people are already sending reminders of things that we need to do to get the music up there. But anyway, so yes, we will get it together where we will take you from gospel slowly back into the show. But today, I clicked that thing. I thought it was gonna be something else. I forgot that was the song that's attached to it. So it yanked you right out the spirit probably, but it's okay. Don't worry about it. We got more coming, and it definitely makes you reflect and remain anchored. Y'all drop into the chat. Where does gospel take you? How does it make you feel? Especially if you got a good artist, somebody who you want us to make sure we can play. We'll make sure we get it for you. But I'm going to turn it over to you because we got some stuff to talk about before we wrap up tonight.
Absolutely. So before I share my screen and show the image that I showed you literally right before the show, which is why I intentionally waited to show you that, just so we want to get each other's raw reactions in during the podcast. So I think it was yes. When did I have call night? Was that Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday? One of those days this week.
I think it was Wednesday.
Wednesday. And a counselor at the end of our call night was like, hey, I got to show you all of image. And Jaquin, you will really, I think that you will enjoy it and, be able to speak to it. And I was like, okay, here goes another test. And she showed us this image, which I will show now if I know how to do. See, this is why I don't do this side of the podcast.
Well, I'm not gonna pretend like it's not a little bit of work involved, but once we both get it together, we can share the pain of it all.
You tell me what.
Or if not, if you send it over, I can do it while you queue it up.
I sent you a text earlier today.
Okay, what is this? What is this? I'm not clicking that. All right. So you want me? Oh, okay. Yes. I can do that. Give some feeder. Set it up for us.
Okay, hold on. Now I got to make sure. I don't even know what I'm doing over here. Okay, never again. I'm never sharing the screen again. Okay, don't give me that task. I'm just gonna, if I have something to share, I'm gonna send it to you. You share it. But anyway, so there's this, I guess, picture or image on the wall. There it is, right there. That is in a high school in the state of Tennessee that reads the school's name, which we blocked it out for protection. Library. If you can read, thank a teacher. If it's in English, thank a soldier. So I sent you this right before. The moment I read this on one of my colleagues' phone, I was immediately appalled. I was disturbed. I could feel my heart beginning to race, being upset because, I think this right here really missed the mark on framing literacy as, joy, creativity, imagination, agency, and conflates, I believe, patriotism and obedience rather than, agency and curiosity, which is what I think that we should be promoting reading as. So what are your thoughts on this right here?
Okay, so which part, by the way, y'all can start dropping your comments in the chat and let us know what you think of it. Your most immediate reaction. You don't have to, sort of think through it. We're going to talk through it, but you don't have to analyze it completely. When I first saw it, I'm going to admit, I don't know what the last part, I don't know what it means. I didn't know what it means. Maybe I still don't know what it means according to whoever created it. But that first part, caught my attention. If there's okay, so how do I want to come to this? First, I'm thinking about it as a person who believes in the power of signs, right? We often talk about in the belonging work that people want to belong. One way they feel a sense of belonging is when they're made to feel that they're welcome, they're safe, they're secure. People like them exist in this space. So then the question becomes, how do people start to determine that they're welcome there? Sometimes you have a welcome sign, a welcome mat. How do people start to discern or believe that people like myself have lived here, have studied here, have done well here? Or maybe as you're walking through the hallway, you see pictures of people who look like you on the wall in certain positions, or maybe fly, all sorts of things, right? So I think signs and words matter. But the first very obvious kind of thing is like, if you can't read, this sign doesn't mean much to you. Right? Like if you can't read, you can't read it. So that if you can read is at least poorly worded. I'm thinking, okay, so fine. That's my first initial reaction. So now it's saying if you're literate, I'm assuming, think a teacher, which I think for me, because it's in a school, you gave us that context. I'm assuming, I don't know, is this like library week or something? Because there are a lot of people that you have to thank for your literacy skills. And we're talking about, sort of language and literacy. Teachers are great. So too are parents and grandparents and pastors and social media people who have all given us stuff to read. Bloggers are part of our support network for reading. So I think that's the first piece, is like, if you can read, think a teacher. Once I get past the if you can read part, okay, fine. The first line kind of I get. If it's in English, think a soldier. What? If what? If you can read English? If you can read and read in English, think a soldier. So then it brings this question of like, what do soldiers do? Soldiers, serve in the military, go to war, protect us. So what does the war and the protection have to do with my ability to read and in English? And so it feels to me like it has an undertone. And of course, when you reveal the location of it in a southern state that has had a history of being insensitive to these issues, it just raises my specter of suspicion. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the first thing that I saw or noticed was if you can read. And my immediate reaction is like, it's like an invisible checkpoint. It implies that, if you can read, or if you're literate, you're worthy to kind of be in this space. It treats literacy as a binary. Either you can or you can't. And I'm thinking, what about the students who, struggle reading, who have dyslexia, the students who are multilingual? How do they feel? I mean, immediately it's like a hierarchy, right? There are people who are above me, and there are people, and this is where I am. And because of that, it just ties back to belonging. Like, I don't belong in this space. And then I already see, and this is why in the office I just chose to walk away, because I already know that.
So wait, you said one of your colleagues presented this like, hey, I want to show you all this, and Jaquin, you'll get a kick out of this?
Well, they was like, Jaquin, I know you have a comment. Like, these are things you live for. So
did your colleague understand? Like, did they see anything? What was their perspective on this sign?
Appalled. They could not believe it was in the school. That's why they took a picture. They were on the campus for a visit to meet some students. They were walking in the school to go to their post to set up and talk about the school, and they come across this sign and took a picture. and waited until they got back to the office to show us as a group.
Yeah.
Everyone I'm thankful, I'm happy, I'm so elated that everyone and I mean that genuinely, that everyone saw a problem with it.
I'm trying to see. Let me see. So we got some comments. What in the world? Yeah, and the visceral reaction to just seeing it. You see it and you respond. Yeah, that last line we need to unpack because it could go a lot of different directions in a few different ways. And then, as you start to think through these
No,
issues,
this is not an international school.
It causes you to, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, as you sort of analyze this, you start thinking, okay, so what could be the justification for this? Is this an international school? Was this library week? Was this soldier week? Was this, but look, I think one of the most obvious issues is that second line. And anybody who creates these signs or has seen these signs or, likes the sign, drop it in the chat, talk to us. But I mean, it's tying literacy and language to military power and force. And I feel like in this political context, that is a statement, right? Like to in other words, when I read it, I started thinking about okay, protecting our borders, shutting down our borders, sealing up our borders, building a wall. And of course, my lens is going to be belonging. So it's about what does it say about who belongs, who doesn't? I mean, to your point about those who are literate, those living with varying levels of ability. Reading is an ability, it's a skill that is often nurtured by teachers. So of course, I think gratitude for them makes a whole lot of sense. But English as a dominant language, first of all, and you don't have to be in an international school. Every school, quite frankly, is an international school, right? Because it's where we opened the show tonight. All of us are trying to recruit students, and I'm guaranteeing that your school is probably doing what my school is, and that is we're admitting students who meet certain metrics and criteria regardless of race, gender, sexual orientation, place of origin, first language, and the like. So to call out English in a public school for everyone for whom English is not their first language, I'm wondering how they experience this sign and what does it mean? English as I'm so impressed. When I say impressed, I don't mean in a necessarily positive sense. I'm always surprised when I go to international conferences, and we've been to some, we got several coming up, right? Where whether we're in Australia or in Hawaii or New Zealand, English, y'all, is the dominant language of those conferences. Everyone who comes to the conference is expected to speak in English. And in those conference proceedings, it'll say English is the dominant language or the main primary language of this conference, though the conference is located in a country where that's not the leading language. So I think we have to be mindful. It doesn't mean it's a problem necessarily, or that it's the only a problem, but has a lot to do with colonization, has a lot to do with migration, immigration, global systems, history of privilege, pain, possession, power, all of that. And so I think when we say think a soldier, it seems to me that we're privileging power, privilege, military force, and ignoring the contributions of immigrants and educators and mentors and midwives and all who have helped sustain our literacy. I'll stop.
Yeah, I think this is that type of stuff. You like this. This is a news story, honestly. Like I think it's anyone posted a picture and puts this on social media and has a comment, it will blow up. My biggest thing is when I first saw it, that I'm really thinking about all the students who cannot read it, or the students who can read it but come from another country. and how they feel, right? Because in that moment, I can only imagine that they feel isolated, alienated, not a part of the group. They don't belong in the school, and then they're forced to see this every single day.
Yep.
Right. So it's a constant reminder of how the administrators and staff, faculty, where you want to call them, how they feel about that certain group. Right. I'm kind of making assumptions here, but I believe that, the people who made these decisions had good intentions. But also I think they're throwing shade, and not realizing that they're throwing shade, and maybe that their student body is a certain group, so they all kind of get a kick out of it. But I do know there may be one or two students out there who are not laughing with them.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is getting a comment from a audience member about what's happening right now with deploying soldiers in all of these cities to sort of keep the peace, how that's happening in places like Chicago, that's happening in places like New York, or at least the threat of it, I think, in New York, unless it's already happened. And so this idea that somehow by deploying soldiers, you're keeping the peace, protecting people's literacy and rights. This comment here too from Ms. Wilson is, is this intended for a reaction or a response? And then 2, who wrote the message? Can we presume or make some assumptions about their positionality? And then what's the intended outcome of this message? Here's the other thing, and I'm saying this because after we end the show, finish up our deadline, I will click a button to submit my grades for one of my classes. And, some of those students will go off to be principals and superintendents. And signs don't get hung in schools without leadership. Some assistant principal or principal authorized for that sign to go up. And so what's the intended outcome of the message? I wonder what the leader of the school leader wanted when they said, either that sign could go up or they passed by the sign and thought, I'll leave it up. Because so much of what you have to do as a school leader, we do a lot of work with school leaders around belonging. And people always say to us, I don't know why my kids don't feel like they belong. I don't know why my students don't feel like they belong. We do this. We had a pep rally. We had a button. We gave them cake in the conference room, whatever it might be. Why don't they feel like they belong? And sometimes, as we've said before in different settings, it can be the most subtle messages, right? I don't know that the person who hung that up said, oh my gosh, I'll get them tomorrow. I'm going to put this sign up and tell everybody who doesn't speak English feel bad about themselves. But they probably had a laser focused goal in mind, to Ms. Wilson's point, and then missed. Because sometimes you can be so focused on what you can see that you conceal these other alternative explanations and interpretations of things. Do you think?
I don't know the intentions, honestly. I think that, we could do some digging. I think if we kind of tell you where the school is located, you paint your own picture and come with a conclusion of why it happened and what their beliefs are. But I don't believe that this certain group really thought through it that hard. I think they came together in the conference room and had a conversation and was like, yeah, we should put that up there. I really don't think there's no thought to it, honestly.
Well, I'm glad you said it like that, because it reminds me of one of the consequences of, I was having a conversation with a friend about, these ideas. We live in a society that operates according to a wild set of norms. That's what I was talking about, norms, right? And so sometimes we will say things because they're normative. That's how we talk about it in the academy. What that means is it's like stuff that generally people will agree with. Who's going to be mad if we say, thank a teacher? We'll wait. Put it in the chat. Who can be mad? Nobody's going to be mad at that because most people believe that teachers are good people on average and they should be thanked, right? Listen, I was in an airport this year and we were trying to get in line, right? And you know how, well, we've traveled together, so you know how I am when it's time to get into line. I'm like, boom, I'm ready to go straight through because it's like group 1, 1K, whatever. I'm not waiting. So, but I remember watching this line happen, and this guy jumped in front of this man very quickly. And the guy was swole. I mean, he was like mad, like, what are you doing? Get in front of me. And the guy turned around and said, oh, I'm military. And he said, oh, I'm sorry. Thank you for your service. And I thought, now see, you about to fight him, but the moment you find out he's a soldier, thank you for your service. When the soldiers, men and women, were going through the line, the woman who was taking their boarding passes said, hey, everyone, can we clap for the soldiers? And everybody started clapping and cheering. And I thought, look, like, we don't know anything about these people, right? All we know is that they're soldiers because the woman told us that. We don't know if they're good soldiers. We don't know if they're bad soldiers. Are they active duty? Are they old duty? I don't know what the opposite of active duty is.
Retired.
Right? What do you say?
Discharged.
Retired. Did they dishonorably discharge? It don't even matter, right? Like, my brain just went there and I thought, look at that. That's a norm of society. In this society, we celebrate our teachers. We celebrate soldiers, service people, right? But every norm has a contradiction to it, right? It's like I was in a store yesterday, I think it was, and this little boy was walking down the aisle, knocking stuff off the shelves. And I was thinking, like, where are your adults? What is going on right now? He was literally just cute as a button, but knocking everything on the floor, like 8 things on the floor in the store. No one's picking it up. And I'm like, why are you in this row by yourself? You're too young to be here. And then this woman comes around the corner and she's like, oh, stop, Marcus, whatever his name was. And I'm looking like, you have a lot of work to do because look at all the stuff. And she said, boys will be boys. I thought, no, ma'am, you can't say that. Because one, it's not about him being a boy. A girl could do this too. Bad children are bad children, or misbehaved children are misbehaved children, or children who act rowdy in the store. They could be tall, short, thick, thin, fake hair, real hair, all their teeth, none of their teeth. And my family would have none of their teeth if they knocked all that stuff on the floor. But I'm saying, like, so I was thinking, like, no. And then I found myself wanting to tell her in the store, like, ma'am, you can't say boys be boys. Like, you got to work with him, whoever you are. I don't know the relationship. Mom, she like she could have been mom. I'm like, because when he goes into school and knocks stuff off the table because he shows up in the world brown or black, he'll be sent to the principal's office. And he will stay there with all the stuff he knocked off on this road. He's going to stay there. And all he's got to do is stay there for a couple of days and they're going to label him. And before you know it, he'll be cute as a button, but in the principal's office, labeled with a behavior problem, probably labeled with a disability, learning disability, spending lots of time in OSS, ISS. Before you know it, they will get him out of the school. And it all started with him coming to Kroger and acting up and you saying boys will be boys. Norm, right? There's a norm around this idea that boys misbehave. I guess girls don't misbehave, which is just not true. But these normative kind of patterns, which is embedded in that sign, we have to think about what's the intended outcome, what's the response, who wrote it, and then ultimately, what do we do about it? So if they called you up tonight and said, hey, we saw the podcast, y'all talking about our sign, what should we do about it? What's your advice?
Well, I mean, I don't think I would. let's have a conversation, an open conversation. I think that we can't be, a lot of people, have closed minds but a loud mouth. I think that we need to be open minded and talk through. Again, I think it was a really good question. Like, what was the intention, right? They may have a strong intention, and if it's justifiable, I probably still won't get down with it. But I'm willing to listen and have a conversation about it. But I'm happy to. I think if we did talk about it, I would be happy to share what we shared tonight, right? One, I just think it's inappropriate. I think you do have students in. First of all, let's just pull the data. How many students on here? Like, let's look at what is the standard? What is the benchmark for literacy? And let's figure out how many people are below that, right? And then where are the ones that what the percent or the number, if you want to do it numerically, cannot read.
Mm-hmm.
And let's talk about that group. Period. Let's just start there.
I like that. I like the fact that that incorporates data, which is something else we talked about tonight. Like, I wonder how many students in that school, like, this is not something I know most schools don't ask about. Like, how many of your students is English their first language? And how many languages are spoken at this school in different dialects? Because I witnessed this week at work. I don't think about it all the time, but there are coworkers whose first language is not English, and who have to not interpret, but it takes some time to process meanings of words, which can be different. So this particular colleague of mine was like, we were in a setting where they were being asked a question. And it was like, come on, speak up, come on, say it, like, get it out, spit it out. And later they confided in me that it's not that they don't want to engage in the conversation. It's not that they don't have questions. It's not that they're being, resistant. It's that it takes longer for them to understand, what do you mean when you say it like that? What does this word mean in this context, different from my home context, right? So they're processing all of that. And it's going to take a minute before I can say anything, because I got to sort of filter it through my mind. It was such a powerful moment because I realized, this is another phrase I've been using a lot intentionally, that I could hold space for them going forward. Now that I know this, because most people around the table, that's not their experience. And most people aren't anticipating or thinking. They hear silence as nobody wants to jump in. They hear silence as nobody wants to participate in the conversation. They hear silence as no one has anything to say. And I can now put words to the fact that I know there may be people in the room who may be thinking through what they're going to say or sorting through what was communicated. I just want to give some moment for that before I call for the question. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I can model that, then I can create space, hold space, a clearing for them to then be able to jump into the conversation.
Yeah, I love it. I think that's another good point too, is like asking them about the, who is English their first language, right? Because that's important. And I also believe that this sign really kind of create silence instead of engagement too. Like, again, these are high school students who, one, if you don't feel like you feel a sense of belonging, you're probably don't feel safe and secure in that space. So then you're less likely to speak up, show up, and talk about how you feel, unless you know some faculty or a staff member or peer who holds that space for you. You can say that. And then because of their position in that school, they can go to someone and talk about it, right? But I do, like you said, that one thing I learned when I was in undergrad is that same thing you just mentioned. Like, when you ask a question, there are students out there who are processing what you ask them. So it is, I think the standard was 5 seconds. And if no one speaks, then you kind of, work through it with them rather than just saying, come on, guys, you know the answer, right? That's just added pressure. And again, I think that kind of creates, disengagement and silence rather than helping people work through what they're thinking, what they want to say, what they're processing to foster a healthy conversation.
Yeah, that's right. What we're talking about is really psychological safety, which is so critical because when people don't feel psychologically safe, they don't lean in. They are worried about being labeled, judged, mistreated, mishandled, and it causes them to activate their protect mode. And it's hard to be creative and imaginative when you're in protect mode, right? So that's one of the things, like one of my friends was asking me this week. She was like, which we should talk about and then we can wrap up. She was asking about the whole writing process and like, how do you write with people? How do you come to a place that you can, really write well? And so, I thought about it. I think it's going to sound so cliche, right? But it takes trust, vulnerability, psychological safety, openness, practice, community, connectedness, belonging. And so then she ended up asking me about, like, when we write together, how do we come to write together? I don't remember the answer. I don't remember what was the first?
I think our first session was when I was in Kentucky. You were in the school in
Illinois.
Yeah. And we wrote for a proposal for a conference. You remember? And you're working on something. We were texting back and forth, and I was writing the proposal, sending you images. First of all, let me tell y'all something. This proposal should have taken me today. It would take me probably no more than 30 minutes. Child, it took me, what do you think? What 3 hours?
Oh, at least.
At least 3 hours, right? So again, but I think that's where it started, right? And then over time, we kind of, instead of like texting back and forth, writing, we would jump on something called, it's like
Zoom?
No, it's through Gmail.
Oh, Google Meet.
And then we eventually, hey, we got close. We started doing a FaceTime, right? And we were literally be on screen on Saturday and Sunday on FaceTime all day writing. And then I remember when we were in Knoxville, I think I was still in Kentucky at the time. We met in Knoxville working on something for my dissertation. And that's when you taught me the weaving method. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, okay, pick up the first word or the last word, and I'll write a sentence. I'm looking like for approval, I'm like, is that a good sentence? All right. And he's like, keep going. I find myself doing that now. I'm like, yes, keep going. So I write another sentence. And then they got to a point where we could jump on screen. You're like, okay, what do we want to talk about? What do we want to, like, what's the topic? How we want to go about it? How we want to frame it? All right, you got this, we, do a little skeleton of the paper, and then you tackle something, I tackle something. And now at the point, I think our best writing, really, because the thing is for us is it's about really community. Am I going too much? I'm talking too much.
No.
It's really about community.
Finally came alive. Hello. Welcome.
Not too much. It's really about community. It's really about like just doing it together. That's what we truly enjoy doing. We can sit on a screen and write for hours because we're just doing it together. And it gets to a point where we have created this rhythm. We have created this, what I've really learned, the method, the style, the tone of writing. Like he'll write a sentence and I guarantee you I'll pick up, write a sentence. Now there are moments where Terrell be doing too much and we'll write 3, 4, 5 sentences. But I'm guilty of that too. I'll write 3 or 4 or 5 sentences. But at that point, that's when we know
and we
we
be
really
getting jealous. Like, wait a minute, that's 3 sentences. You're supposed to be just one.
But that's when we know, like, we're really that. But we also have learned, right, I think at first, early on, when we started doing it, we would get just like, oh, come on, now you're not playing by the rules. But now we also have learned that, hey, if you in the groove, you in the groove. So
right.
take it and hit it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then because now you're in that space, let me jump in there with you.
Right. Yeah. That's a good point. So it did. I think I remember. So the other part I probably should have said is that, you know, folks have been talking about, you know, writing is hard. And you really do have to, you know, if you're going to collaborate and write with a person, you do have to get to know them, right? Because it's a part of a process. Like, you got to know what they're likely to say and what you want to say, and together it makes sense. And you got to be willing to. So like the other thing that we'll do is like, pretty much you'll write something, and then when you are complete, you'll stop, and then I'll write. And then when I'm done, you'll pick up. But we're now to a place where it'd be like, I really need that to end kind of different in order to see where I'm trying to go. So you can edit in the moment the other person's work to get where it needs to go, so it all makes sense. And I think early on, we probably did not do that as much. But now it's like, yeah, I see what you're doing, but I'm gonna need these last 5 words to be different so I can go where I'm trying to go. And we trust each other that we know what we're trying to weave together. So it is a process. It is a technique. We do have a video about it. We can share that with folks. If you haven't already, go to our YouTube channel, look up the weaving method. It's a way of writing. And I think we also had times where we would practice it, right? Like speak something out or write something out, end on a word. You would pick it up, carry it forward, end on a word. And that, because the other part that I think is part of collaborative writing, it really is an auditory kind of experience. You have to be able to hear each other. And I don't mean that in a ableist kind of way, because if you can't hear with your ear, you can hear with your eyes, you can hear with your heart, you can hear with your words, you can hear with your, but you got to be able to understand each other, right? What is it that we're trying to say? Because that's the other thing that we don't talk enough about.
Yo, listen, I'm not
what
even.
do we want to say?
Okay, we're not in the show. I gotta say something, and I'm not even trying to gas you up, but it's like, but I gotta say it because it's like, you know, we over time we really learned each other, right? I think at first you were trying to teach me the way you taught others. Listen, it was not landing. I don't know what was going on. I was like, hey, boo boo, like I ain't got it. But I think for me, like you learned over time is like, remember there are many moments where we have so much audio, you all, that is unreleased of us sitting in the kitchen talking about. I remember drawing out the model word for word, like I have it in my mind. I'm drawing it out, not even looking at it, referring to anything, and we would just talk about the model. And there are moments because of those moments, I learned through talking through it, telling stories. It allowed me to translate all of that through the writing. Right, that was your way, right? Me even realizing like you know the material, you know the content, you know how to talk about it. Now you got to learn how to write about it, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's just really just like learning each other, knowing who you're collaborating with, figuring out their style of learning, their style of writing, and trying to merge those two together.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, to each and every one, I mean, I'm sure that you may, you know, if you're not a writer, just think about how you really these lessons. And I think it was already captured or caught. It's, you know, it's like track and field, a relay race where, you know, if you're going to collaborate with someone, whether it's in the workspace on building an event or hosting an event or a podcast or a writing project or a report or whatever, it really does take that kind of connection, getting to know, issues of trust. Trust is knowing people's intentions, their commitments and their behaviors, but it's also a matter of really, you know, being accountable to each other. So you don't, like, as I was saying, we don't get started writing just because I have a good idea. I'm like, oh, let's go write this, not just take off running. No, that's not a good relay race, because you won't be where I need you to be, or I won't be where you need me to be to pass the baton. We've got to sit down. So before we even start writing, there's a lot of planning, as you just alluded to. You're sketching it out on the big sheets of paper. So saying like, okay, what are we going to talk about? Here's what we're going to talk about. Here's what we're not going to talk about. Here's where we're going to go and how it ties back to what we've been working on. Here's what we're going to stay away from because it's taking us in a whole different direction. And once we have that, what we call an outline, outlines don't always look like what you learned in grade school, then we're ready to go. And once we have an outline and we're on point and we know what we're going to do, oh, please. Like you said, we've got at least a dozen pieces, blogs, articles started that, hey, 2026 almost here. We're gonna let the world see them in that next year. But it's been fun. Good episode, good conversation. And we know what we got to do for a couple more minutes tonight, and then we can let it go. But listen, to everybody who tuned in, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being so active in the chat. And across all of our various platforms. If you enjoyed the episode, learned anything at all, please share the episode with someone in your network. You can go to the Spotify channel and share the Spotify channel, or better yet for us, if you share the YouTube link, get them to subscribe. That way they'll know whenever we go live where to find us. So we're going to give you a couple more minutes of good old music, and then we'll close out the show. And someone told me last week we forgot to play the outgoing song. So should I do the outgoing and then the song, or the song and the outgoing? What'd you think?
Song and then outgoing.
Song and then the outgoing. Here it is. So until next week, y'all, listen, go out here. Don't be afraid to do something, but do something good. Do something good for yourself. Holidays are coming. Be safe. Stay warm. And we will see you next Sunday. Same time, same place. I got to find the song that you really, really like, if I can find it. And then I'm going to play that. Whoa, where is it?
Such a good friend. See,
What you
he
say?
always thinks of me. I say, you're such a good friend.
Here we go. Enjoy. Till next week, y'all. Peace.
All them shines, they let me hold it. But I'm still holy. Ain't no changing, but I'm Jesus rolling. I'm still holy. Still holy. Demons gave me where to feel holy. Jesus, he's and singing holy. He the reason now. Still holy. In the dark. Still holy. In the light. Still holy. Messed up. Still holy. Got right. Still holy. In the day. Still holy. In the night. Still holy. No change. Still holy. It's more forever. Midwest. Still holy. East Coast. Still holy. West Coast. Still holy. Up north. Still holy. South side. Still holy. We up. Still holy. The tribe. Still holy. The tribe. Still holy. Now I thought that was for them. New member. This message can't go back to Senatorial with the tribe. Smooth in the mix, no blender. Yeah. You hear me? Devil get mad when he can't get near me. Still no chain, but on my jewelry. I'm always down like every time you try to go get a McFlurry. Wait, you hear them horses? That's a try with me. What? Extra piece in this game, like Monopoly. Huh? It ain't on me, it's in me, biology. Whoa. It's you gang, cause you not tell the truth. And the devil don't lie to me, don't play psychology. Curse his name when he changed my heart. Just walk to the light if you're living in the dark. Still holy. In the light. Still holy. Messed up. Still holy. Yeah, right. Still holy. In the day. Still holy. In the night. Still holy. No change. Still holy. It's more forever. Midwest. Still holy. East Coast. Still holy. West Coast. Still holy. Up north. Still holy. South side. Still holy. We up. The tribe. The tribe. Still holy. Yeah. Still holy. In the dark. In the light. To the day that we gon' die. Ain't gon' be no switching sides. Ain't gon' be no doubt in that. Till the door. Till the hell. Till the I give it up. If it's a problem, I get it. Spit up and then for dinner, repent. Living my best, like pushing my limits. Y'all filling up my tank full of unleaded. Yeah, who want to smoke? Who trying to get it if I gotta go? Still holy. How do I know? I'm about to get it, cause I know the whole. Still holy. Back of the ropes, taking these low blows by the bolo. Cause I know for sure that the bell gon' save me. Tucking my chin, I ain't worried about haters.
All them shots, they left me holy, but I'm still holy. Ain't no changing but them seasons, Brody, I'm still holy. Demons scheming, red Ephesians, seen that I'm still holy. Jesus, heathen seeking, he the reason I'm still holy. Still holy.
In the light.
Still holy.
And still.
Still holy.
Got right.
Still holy.
In the day.
Still holy.
In the night.
Still holy.
No change.
Still holy.
It's more forever, Midwest.
East
him. I be in the mood to put lit in a demon. If I'm getting stoned, I do it like Stephen. I'm belling the flag, the tat on my neck, the cross on my back. If you looking for smoke, you know where it's at. The sound of the monsters is not coming back, alright?
That's right.
Be trapped.
Stay in rap for real.
I'm chained.
I'm chained. I stay in my real.
One dog.
What's that?
My name in his hand for real. My dog out the kennel. They forget I'm.
Thank you for tuning in to Do Good Work Podcast. We hope you found today's conversation informative, uplifting, and insightful. Don't forget to like and share this episode with your networks. Follow us on social media at Do Good Work on X, formerly Twitter, for real-time updates, behind-the-scenes content, and so much more. Until next time, friends, don't be afraid to do something, but do something good. Do good work.